Randolph Shepherd, Vendors of America presents the Business Enterprise Program Series. Blind businessmen and businesswomen building a better America. To find out more, go to the website randolphshepherd.org. That's randolph-shepherd.org. Welcome to Blind Abilities. I'm Jeff Thompson, and today, as part of our Business Enterprise, the BEP series, we're going to be talking about a day in the life. A day in the life of a business enterprise owner, operator, vendor. We're just going to run the gauntlet here of what it's like to wake up every day and do your job. Of course, you might get Saturday, Sunday off, but we'll just stick to the day in the life. With me in the studio is Scott Eggen, and we have Randall Crosby and Linda Allison. Welcome back, all of you. How are you doing, Scott?
I am doing fantastic.
Great. Randall, how are you doing?
Doing great, thanks.
And Linda, welcome.
Thank you.
Well, welcome back. I really enjoyed the last episode we did where we just briefly introduced people, let them know what the business enterprise can be like and what your programs and ownership has been like over the years. Let's start it out. A day in the life. What does the average day look like for you, Scott?
Oh, my. Well, I was thinking a little bit about this on my way home today. In my business currently, every day looks different. It depends on what I'm up to during the day. I'm up early every morning. I'm just an early bird. I love being up in the morning when it's quiet. You kind of have your time to have your coffee, get your thoughts together, get yourself a little organized. But not everybody has to be like that, but that just happens to be me. Some days I'm fortunate. My wife can maybe drop me off at work. If I'm headed to the college, I don't start real early over there, 7:30, 8 o'clock. If I'm going out to one of my prison locations and I'm taking our public transportation, I'll usually try to set one up pretty early in the morning. I was just out to my major prison today and 5:30 pickup on the bus. Out there I went, and it's always good to be out there because the inmates are still either sleeping or having breakfast, so I can get some work done. Typical day, 4 or 5 o'clock, I'm done for the day. I'm usually spent by that time too. So yes.
How about you, Randall?
Yeah, that's a great question. How does my day go in a regular day? I am the owner of a rest area, a rest stop here in Florida on Interstate 95. To me, rest areas are one of the more efficient business models that we have in our program because we do have about 4 different models. We have snack bars, cafeterias, vending routes. We also have the military dining. Now we have a new kind of venture in a business called micro markets. But the rest stops are very efficient. So in my business, I have a storeroom that's actually provided by the Florida Department of Transportation for us. It's a very nice sized building to store the products in. That's convenient. And we have 8 vending machines that we stock. And those 8 machines are quite busy being out on the interstate highway. Those machines produce enough sales revenue to build a significant business. So my morning starts, I can relate to what Scott was saying. I love getting up at 6 a.m., sometimes even 5:30, get that first cup of coffee, enjoy the peace and quiet of the morning, collect my thoughts before the day begins and anyone else is waking up and creating any kind of sounds. So I start my day early. I go to work with my wife, Patty. Transportation, of course, is a big issue for us as blind business owners and entrepreneurs. I'm fortunate that my wife, Patty, works right alongside of me. We drive into work together. She usually drives. Every now and then she allows me. No, I'm just joking. We work right alongside of each other. We put in about a 6-hour day typically, and we never know what we're going to run into, which is the fun part of this, being a business owner for, I think all of us will agree that it's kind of exciting that you never know what you're going to run into or encounter. And many times it's the unexpected, a machine that's malfunctioned, not working or jammed. Coffee machines require a lot of work and things happen to them. My day is usually filled with a new variety of new things that can happen at any given moment.
Yeah, I know those coffee machines. I've actually cleaned one of them and filled it all up, and where it used to do the puffing of the cream and all that stuff. It was quite neat, ground it all. And I don't know if you use them anymore,
Yes.
But the science behind those was pretty cool. I really enjoyed that. How about yourself, Linda? What's your day look like?
Consistent inconsistency. Right now, it's kind of calm because I'm in between facilities. My most recent facility, which was the nuclear plant, day started about 4:30 a.m. and I would look at machine reports, kind of get an idea of what business was the last 24 hours. So I had an idea how bad the machines had been hit. And my driver would get here about between 6:30 and 7 and make our stop at Sam's and then make the hour-and-a-half drive to the facility, load up what we do need, and then pray that we get in through security and hope that nothing shut things down, or usually a 12-hour day. Now, granted, 3 hours of that is commute time, but generally right at 12 hours from the time that we leave here to the time that we leave there. And everything in between is always a surprise. Never know. Machine can be down. Machine can be spewing things. I've had them sling money at me, literally spitting $5 bills out, spewing liquids that you don't know where they're coming from. And of course, it's when you can't get a tech to come in, so it's always an entertainment. Or somebody at the facility decides, hey, that machine's not working properly, so I'm going to unplug it, okay? And you go into a frozen machine full of spoiled food because somebody decided that was a good idea. Yeah, so you just never know. It can be that exciting, or it can be a very lovely, boring day where you go in, you put the stuff in the machine, you unload the truck, and you go home. And those are rare, but they do happen.
So it's quite the same, but quite different too, depending on what kind of facility that you're operating. Now, with the economy, I've noticed prices jumping around, going up mostly with foods and all that, and vending is food. So do you compensate, and how often do you compensate for the food that you're selling in your machines?
Well, I was just having a discussion with my employee this morning on honey buns, of all things, and the fact that we were a little bit behind again on our pricing because we've seen another price increase. So I know for myself, once a month for sure, I try to analyze my order that's coming in from the supplier and take a look at where we are on unit cost. It's a fact of life. It's an unfortunate fact of life, but it is a fact of life. You have to make price adjustments. Certainly in a college, it's a little different environment from the reactions I get to the prison, which they're typically a little underfunded, and they will let you know that they're not happy about the price increase, but it is what it is. They are starting to understand because they've seen it so much even in the prisons. So yeah, it's one of the tougher things we deal with, but I'm going to give you my answer to this. And, I'm not in this vending business for my health. I'm here to hopefully make $1 at the end of the day, and whatever I have to do to make that happen is what I'm going to do. Yeah. There we are.
Randall, what determines what products you stock in there, and what makes you change over to a different product that's in your machine?
Regarding being on a rest area, as I mentioned, a lot of us compare products to products with each other. Here in Florida, we have 50 vendors, blind entrepreneurs that are in the rest areas. And we try to kind of check in with each other, especially locally around our closest areas when we're close to each other. What products are used, and we'll have conversations. What's selling good right now for you? What do you find doesn't work? And this way, we at least have some sense of uniformity or consistency going up and down the highway for the travelers. But within that, we can certainly have a lot of variety too. We're not limited on what we do. We have total freedom, all of us, to buy from any company we want to, any product that we want to buy. And we set our own pricing on that too. But I just always look around at new items, what the pricing is. We just had our Sagebrush convention here with the Randall Shepherd Vendors of America, and those sales reps from these same companies, the wholesale companies we buy from, were all there to show us their actual products. We got samples, got to check out any new items, talk to them, get the price quotes from them. And that's a good way to look at items at the conventions. And we just talk to each other and we learn what sells and what doesn't sell. But the pricing is a tough one right now. Our prices are higher than ever. I buy from a national company that provides all the major snack items and brand names. And my order comes in about every 4 weeks. And every 4 weeks, I'm increasing prices on products. It's interesting times right now, and we're continually raising those prices.
Linda, you talked about some days are good, some are interesting, and most consistent thing is inconsistency. What about when you go home? Does work stay at work, or is there stuff you have to do at home, like go through your books, orders, and all that stuff? When do you really punch out?
Unfortunately, I'm kind of one of those people that I never punch out. I go to sleep answering emails. I wake up still with the phone in my hand where I have been responding to a customer or trying to do a Sam's order or trying to put a Vistar order together or trying to do payroll or any of there's, a lot of paperwork involved with keeping up with employees and with products like the gentleman we're talking about. Staying on top of the pricing, watching the machines. The beauty of card readers is that you can get all kinds of data about what's going on from the machines. So it helps you with how sales are going. You get more of an idea of what's being purchased and what isn't, and also somewhat the machine health. But that's one of the biggest complaints I get from my adult children is that I'd never punch out. And I'm constantly in work mode. It's like my son's favorite phrase is, Mom, stop. The only time that actually happens is when he brings the 3 grandkids over, and I am captive audience to the 3 little goobers that run my life for a couple of hours on the weekend. And that's pretty much my break from work is ages 7, 6, and 3.
You know, I used to go to the conventions and I would see the BEP vendors, owners, and all that. They kind of hang out together. I used to call them the blue-collar blind. And yet, the more I learn about it and listen to you talk about, you're also a white collar because you're sitting there with, let's say, pencil and paper. I dated myself there, but you're sitting there crunching the numbers, trying to be successful. But your longevity in this business proves that there's rewards to doing this hard work.
You're absolutely right. We have to wear a lot of hats in this business. We have to adapt. We have to be able to be hands-on, work with the equipment. You can't be afraid to jump into trying to solve problems when your stove or oven suddenly isn't working properly in the kitchen, or you're having problems with the plumbing, or you're having problems with a vending machine. We learn as we go. We jump in, but also we have to be our own accountants. I have an accountant to handle my taxes and do the heavy lifting of all of that, but I have to really have a daily working number of what my business is doing. Profits, cost of goods, sales. We have to understand that. You have to be able to determine what's your profit margin, what's your net profit, how much do you want to make off of that candy bar? And it's just a number of things. But with technology, as has been mentioned here, it's evolving very quickly. The credit card readers are fascinating. People on vending routes now can be on their device remotely, and they can do a full inventory of all their machines. If it's 50 machines, there's a newer product out there that we can pay an extra monthly fee to have that service and feature on the credit card readers, and everything can be done remotely. You can know how many bags of chips, how many candy bars, how many sodas you need to put on your van or truck from your warehouse going to the machines if you want to do it that way, compared to what was 5 or 10 years ago. You had to load your van from the warehouse. It's a guessing game. I'll take some of these, some of that. And then you get out there and you realize you should have brought more of this and less of that. But now with technology, we get that picture. I check in every morning at 6 a.m. on my laptop or iPhone, and there's the picture of my sales right there. Each machine, how much have I sold and what's moving and what's not. So that's where we're at now, the technology. But we absolutely have to be adaptable and keep learning and adapting to the times and using all these tools that we have available to us.
Scott just loads up a truck full of honey buns at the prison.
Correct.
He's good.
That's right. Honey buns for all. That's what I'm putting on the side of my truck. First, I'm going to say, I feel Linda's pain. I do that myself sometimes. It's hard to get away from this business, but I want to say something to the other side of this as well. If you asked the 2 panelists on with me today, if you came to a convention like Sagebrush and you said, so tell me, after all these hours we put in and all the work that we do, would you drop it and go do something else? And I got a feeling I know the answer. I personally love my business, even though it brings me some heartache sometimes and a lot of work, back-breaking work, but I do love it. And I'm willing to bet these 2 would also say that they love their business, they love the occupation, and it's very rewarding. So I just wanted to address that as well, because it is hard to get away. There's times where I think, just got to stop and think of something else. And I do other things. I'm learning the game of golf, and we're going to a play coming up, and just love to be involved in all kinds of other things as well. It's not 100% work, but it's always that balance, figuring out what time do I devote to work, what time do I devote to my family at home, and those other things that go on in life. So yeah, I just wanted to address that as well.
And Linda's fairly new in the business compared to Scott and I in numbers of years. And when you're new in this program, you're hungry for everything that's available to you, especially for blind people I know who they've never had opportunities to be employed for years. Suddenly they're given this wonderful opportunity, the keys to a business, ownership of something, responsibility, and with that, we realize if I mess up and make a big mistake, it's on me, but I'll own up to it. But if I do something fantastic and great, I'll take the credit for that too. It's all on me and my name's on this. And I've seen people just love that. And when you get to where Scott and I are so many years into this, we come to a place where we can kind of, prioritize other things in life and get that balance, as was mentioned, where the first 5 to 10 years, I know I was just so hungry for it. And I see that in the young people young in years, but also young in the program, the 5 to 10 year people that come in, they're just chasing after it hard, and it's a wonderful thing to see.
I look at it this way. I was a college instructor for 16 years, so I've always put in long hours, and it's kind of natural for me to do so, but the payoff is different in this. You're not doing it for somebody else. There's self-gratification involved as well. A lot like Randall is saying, you're hungry to learn and to do well. There's a different kind of motivation because, the self-motivation to achieve something you've not really been given the opportunity to do so before. I mean, I know as a visually impaired person, I have always had to work 6 times as hard as everybody else to get equal recognition, even though I knew I was smarter than my competition. I don't mean that to sound as conceited as it does, but a fact is a fact sometimes.
Mm-hmm.
And, you have to prove yourself over and over and over again just to get equal. I graduated cum laude with my bachelor's degree and got absolutely no, it was like, oh yeah, big whoop. It's nice to be in a program, in a situation, in a business where I'm seeing my effort creating something. I don't know. There's a sense of pride that is attached to it that you can't really explain to someone else.
Yep, it's hard to. Yeah.
Scott, you mentioned golfing as doing something family time. How about you, Randall? What do you do on your extracurricular, your free time?
I'm a runner. I've been running. I was introduced to running several years ago, and I really enjoyed that. I get out there a couple of days a week to do that. I actually host a 5K running event annually now, and that's become a very important part of my giving back to the Randolph Shepherd vendors. It's a fundraiser event and part of my passion. I'm involved in public speaking. I'm a member in 3 clubs with Toastmasters, so I do spend a lot of time on that, and it's become a terrific way for self-improvement for me and a way to help others as well. And my wife, Patty, and I enjoy time here in our neighborhood, walking around the streets, seeing the neighbors out and socializing with them. We go to the beach when we can here in Florida, and we enjoy the movies. I love the fact now that the movie theaters have that audio description, and I can get that feedback of the movie. I enjoy it without it or with it. Not all movies have it, but to me, it's something about being in the movie theater with a bag of popcorn. We love going out to dinner, and it is that quality of life and balance. Now, after 32 years in the business program, and we are kind of at a place where we can enjoy things along with the work that's involved. And so that's kind of what we do.
The thing I got out of that was if I was a kid, I would always go trick-or-treating at BEP house. I was just thinking of that. That must be nice. Yep. Whoa.
Lots of candy.
Yeah. How about you, Linda? What's your off time like? Hobbies?
I knit. I like to bake. I get as much time with my grandchildren as I possibly can. I do a lot of nonprofit, president of my local chapter of Tennessee Council. I'm also on the state board. I'm treasurer. I'm on the ACB Walk Committee and have been for many years. Just lots of dibbles and dabs and that kind of thing. Pretty low key. I used to like to go to the movies, but they've gotten so strange now. I haven't really, I think the last thing I saw was when they did a remake of Mary Poppins, and that was bizarre enough that I haven't gone back to the movies since. May have to try that again. And all the people I like for concerts are kind of retired, which is kind of sad. But
darn it all anyway.
Yeah, so some of I saw where Stevie Nicks and Billy Joel are touring, and I was like, I would love to see Billy Joel, but not so much Stevie Nicks. And what they're charging for tickets, it's no, I really only want to see one of those folks, and it's not worth like $800 for me to do
just
that.
Just give them 4 cartons of eggs, you can get in.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
There you go.
Or honey buns.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, there you go.
A couple cases of honey buns, and they'll open the door right up for me.
Well, I can imagine if they see you going out with 4 cases of honey buns at the prison, you might be a little bit in trouble there. A lot of answering to do there.
Boston cream ones. I don't know when they're going to bring those back, but they were extremely popular.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I swear they had some kind of addictive substance in them other than sugar, because I never seen people act so weird over a piece of confection.
I started a career in printing. When I was 19 years old, I printed the covers and the calendars for the swimsuit calendars for Sports Illustrated. And I thought this was a great job. And then someone bid it over in Japan and got the jobs from us. But I was printing art. And I always was distracted when I would go to a restaurant and get the menu. I would look at the printing on the menu. Then I would see if you folded in half, it matched the colors. I was stuck in the printing mode. What's it like for you when you go to a store and you're in the candy aisle or out and about? You must always see the brand. Who makes this? What company? Who's the distributor? How's that work for you guys?
Oh, I'm going to jump in on that one because I'm laughing already. You go to a hotel. What's the first thing I do? I should be concerned about this, that, and the other. How nice is the pool? Do they have a hot tub? Nope. Where's the vending? I got to see what they have. Oh, isn't that sad? It becomes ingrained in you. You're always looking to see what the competition's doing. I go to a college. My wife has taught at a few different colleges. Oh, where's the vending? I got to go see what they're offering. It's just life. That's just how it is.
Really?
Very true. Same here. Yeah. Anytime you're around those products that are familiar to us, I got to know what the price is, who are they buying it from, what's going on, what are they doing? Yeah.
Yep.
What can I learn from this?
You mentioned the Sagebrush conference out there in Las Vegas, annually out there.
Mm-hmm.
How does that reinvigorate you when you're out there? What do you get from it? I'll start with you, Scott.
Okay. As folks may or may not know, I'm president of RSVA. I also happen to be currently the chair of the Sagebrush committee. So it's kind of a double whammy for me.
And RSVA is Randall
Shepherd Vendors of America. Thank you for that. And putting together Sagebrush is always a lot of work. That week, I swear, my nice shoes get run down about flat because I'm just here, there, and everywhere. But even though I'm exhausted when I come home, there's this certain invigorated part of me that's saw some of my colleagues from all over the country that I haven't seen for a while. I've met some new people who might be selling products in our industry. We've had some great together time learning something. And all of that is just so addicting. You come home and you're just, if it's been a good conference, you're just fired up. I know I'm real curious to hear how Randall answers this question because this was his first Sagebrush conference. And I think he got to take in a lot. So I'm very curious to hear what he thought. And certainly Linda's been a part of this as well. They both sit on our Sagebrush planning committee. So they've got some pretty special insight into this as well. Yeah, I just know for myself, it's a rev up. And if you're ever thinking, oh, this is mundane and I'm tired, go to one of these conferences and you'll come back just fired up about everything. It's good.
How about you, Randall?
Scott's absolutely right. This was my first time ever going to the Sagebrush conference. For years, I've seen the emails come up and it just never seemed like the right time or the date was wrong or we had something else going on. But this year, I was on the subcommittee for planning for the convention itself, which was a unique experience and very insightful. I have to give kudos to Scott and Artis Basson, who was the VP, our vice president of Randall Shepherd Vendors of America as well. The two of them just really put this together so smoothly. They made it look easy, much easier than it really is. And Scott's wife, Isa, was right alongside of him at the convention, just helping out in so many ways as well. They worked hard on this. But for me, the networking is very special. The interactions to meet other business owners who are blind from all around the country, amazing. I met vendors in Hawaii and to hear their stories of how they do things in Hawaii, vendors in Alaska, and pretty much every other state here in the country, and just so many different things that are being done. And we just learn so much. You just can't take it all in. It's almost sensory overload. I was very happy to be able to be a moderator for one of those days to introduce people who are involved with Randolph Shepherd on a national level, people from Washington, D.C., and some of the people who supply the products and equipment to us. Every day we had speakers bringing in all different types of information for us. Just was an amazing experience to be a part of it, and definitely look forward to the next one.
That Toastmasters is paying off for you, isn't it?
Yes.
Got to be a moderator.
Yeah, that was fun to be the moderator. And I will add that Scott brought a great sense of humor to it. I love humor, but I was trying to be conservative. I told myself before going into it, Randall, don't get too crazy or spontaneous. You might scare Scott and Artis from inviting you back to be a moderator. So I kept it low key, but then Scott led the way on the humor. He was right up front with it. And he gave a great signal that we're going to have a lot of work to do here. We have serious business to do. We're going to learn a lot, but we're going to have some fun along the way. So we added humor to it.
Yep.
Linda, did you make it out there?
No, I really wish I could have. It's a good thing I didn't go because I ended up that week began the inventorying out process because I'm changing to a local facility, right. So I won't have the hour and a half one-way commute anymore. I did the virtual thing. It's still neat. I mean, this is my third time participating virtually. It's neat to hear the concept become reality. And the amount of input that everybody puts into it, and the speakers and the panel and the moderators, everything just all falls into place. And it's really neat to see how it all gels together. And it's so overwhelming, the amount of information and the amount of knowledge. I wish I could have been there because it would have been like being in a Harvard Law School corridor, with the amount of intellect that was collectively present. Just so much information, so much experience, and a really neat experience. I'm hoping, Lord willing, and the creek don't rise, as the old saying goes, that next year I will be present for an actual conference.
Golden nugget, here you come.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
I will add that there were over 100 people in person, right, Scott? And 25 or more virtual. A good turnout.
Yes, that is correct. About 150, about 30 folks that were online. A unique experience. I will say real quick that I've never had the opportunity to be a part of a live event that dealt with folks in front of you, right, as the audience, and you have people beside of you online, which are chiming in as this is all going on as well. Very, very unique experience. I did hear a comment from one of our participants online who was like, boy, I would have loved to have been there. You could feel the energy in the room coming through online. And that's pretty amazing to me that people were picking up on that as well, because it was a fired up group. I hope and pray that we see this again with the enthusiasm and the excitement people brought into the room. It was just absolutely amazing.
Well, I think it's really great. And, I remember when I first found out there was other blind people in the world, where do they keep them? I didn't know, but
that's right.
Once I started getting out and getting to know groups and communities and all this other stuff, it was like I wasn't alone. So as a vendor, especially the young ones, which we'll be having a couple on the next part of the series, it's a great place for them to realize, hey, they made it. I can do it. That's what it is. It's about putting the community together, getting all you together so you can share that experience, because experience is the best teacher.
Yep.
Well, Scott, Randall, Linda, thank you once again. This is a great episode, and we'll see you next time.
Thank you, and thank you for the great job you did on the first one. I've just received so many positive comments, and I think we've got a number of states who have chosen to use that as part of their format to recruit new people to their program. I'm just so pleased that this has been so well accepted. So, yes.
To find out more about Randolph Shepherd Vendors of America, go to the website www.randolphshepherd.org. That's randolph-shepherd.org. And stay up with the latest news and happenings on their Facebook page, Randolph Shepherd Vendors of America. And be sure to contact your vocational rehab, your state agency, and find out all about the Business Enterprise Program and the career and opportunities available to you.
When we share
what we see through
each other's eyes, we can then begin to bridge the gap
between the limited expectations and the realities
of blind abilities.